A few months ago, I had absolutely no idea who Gretchen Felker-Martin was. None. Never heard of the person, never bothered to there. I mean, I might have seen like a post or something a few years ago with that whole thing with J.K. Rowling, but I never really paid much interest in it because I wasn't really interested in that. When it was brought up the person was going to be writing Red Hood, I looked into it and I got information on that person. I made a video about it. Information was also sent to me about stuff that was not said before, all of that. But again, I really had no idea who Gretchen Felker-Martin was before a few months ago. Now, it seems that you just can't seem to stop hearing about Gretchen Felker-Martin, and none of it is good. DC Comics, as I said in a video before, hired this person knowing that they were an unhinged lunatic. Gretchen Felker-Martin themselves told them that, you're gonna get problems once you hire me. But DC did it anyway because this person checked boxes. That's all they were interested in. They hired an unhinged lunatic to write, and it went downhill. After the horrific assassination of Charlie Kirk, Gretchen Felker-Martin went online and showed exactly what a vile, disgusting individual they are. You understand me? And then we all saw exactly who this man in a dress that DC hired was, exactly what kind of person they were. So DC had no other choice, which was shocking considering, DC will hire anybody, no matter how vile or depraved the person is, to write books for them once they could just make headlines and say, oh, we hired this person because of that. You understand me? That is all that they needed. So they put it out there, and then DC had no choice but to fire Gretchen Felker-Martin. And I did another video talking about how people from the comic book community and other people online were acting like, no, Gretchen Felker-Martin is the victim, not Charlie Kirk, not his family. No, Gretchen Felker-Martin is the victim. Well, somebody else has come out trying to claim the same thing and then acting like, how dare DC fire this lunatic? And it's one of the co-creators of The Matrix. Because apparently The Matrix isn't, happening anymore, because apparently, the machines have realized we're all too stupid to ever plug ourselves into them. So they pretty much have given up at this point. That's what's going on. Dive into this article here from that Park Place. The Matrix co-creator Lilly Wachowski defends fired DC writer who mocked Charlie Kirk assassination while adapting writer's controversial novel. Oh, great. In the days following the tragic assassination of conservative activist Charlie Kirk, Hollywood figures and entertainment insiders continue to reveal where they stand on one of the most disturbing political killings in modern American history. Yeah, you can imagine people are out there doing that. The latest voice to emerge and attack Charlie Kirk is Lilly Wachowski, the co-creator of The Matrix and a biological male who identifies as female. And there it is. There it is. Now, let me just say this to be perfectly straightforward here, right? I am not saying all transgender people are going to be doing this. No, I'm sure there's some out there who are horrified by all this and with that. But the ones who would go out and defend Gretchen Felker-Martin, who is also a biological man who wants to pretend that they're a woman, you understand me? After the horrific, disturbing thing you say, you want to do what you want to do, that's your business. I don't care about it. That's your business. But when you go out and mock people after a man was assassinated for talking, because apparently, according to you, that's the most horrific thing you can do, talk. But now you have Lilly Wachowski defending this person. And I don't even, I don't have to read the rest of this to know where it's going, but I'm going to read the rest of it to know where it goes, because I already know it's going to prove my point before I even get to it. But let's continue. Lilly Wachowski lashed out at Charlie Kirk and defended Gretchen Felker-Martin, the now fired DC Comics writer who mocked his assassination online. Yeah, that sounds like that's a really put together individual. Felker-Martin is also a biological male who identifies as female. Interestingly, Wachowski has also been planning to adapt one of Felker-Martin's novels, the controversial gender politics dystopian horror story Manhunt, for television. You're gonna be mad in your ass. I'm not watching that. I'm not watching that. I've never read the book, but from the description and everything I heard, I don't want to even touch that thing with a 10-foot pole. And the fact that Gretchen Felker-Martin came out bragging about how in that book, in that book she wrote how they murdered J.K. Rowling and was happy to brag about it online. Happy. Why in the name of God would you ever want to adapt that into anything? I don't know. But again, it's proving my point. I know exactly where this whole thing is going. I'm telling you, I'm not watching that. Plain and simple. People want to check it out. That's people's business. I have no interest in watching that. The controversy began when Felker-Martin made posts openly celebrating Kirk's murder. Yeah, because when you're that sick in the head, that's what you do. The writer was swiftly dismissed by DC, a rare instance of accountability in an industry often willing to excuse outrageous behavior from creators so long as it aligns with certain ideological leanings. That's true. A lot of people, myself, were shocked that DC let this person go, because DC as a company, not even really DC, because there are others. I mean, you might see it so much with Marvel, but they may do it as well, and Disney and other businesses like that. As long as you align ideologically with them, you could say, do, or carry on however the hell you want, and they're perfectly okay with that. Perfectly okay with that. Look at Ezra Miller, for instance. He went off like an absolute lunatic for months, and they were finding every excuse in the book to cover for Ezra Miller. Because why? Privilege, gender privilege. Because while Ezra Miller was going out there to identify as non-binary and trans, which makes no sense because you can't be either. But then anyway, see, you understand me? They were covering for me. They even put out like god awful Flash movie. They could have canceled it and done, but they were covering for me because of that. So as long as you align with them ideologically when it comes to certain things, they're perfectly okay with that. Instead of condemning Felker-Martin's rhetoric, Wachowski rushed to the defense, painting Felker-Martin as a victim rather than addressing the cruel remarks. Yeah, but the only person who was doing it. In comments shared online, Wachowski accused conservatives of hypocrisy for criticizing Felker-Martin's celebration of the assassination. So it's hypocrisy to criticize somebody for celebrating the assassination of somebody who was talking. Okay. Rather than acknowledging the inhumanity of laughing at political murder, Wachowski instead directed blame back at DC and claimed that that company was dutifully carrying on his rotten work. Yeah, because it's everybody else's fault, not the person who openly mocked murder. The stance was both unsurprising and yet stunning in its brazenness, given the national climate of mourning and alarm after Kirk's killing. So Lilly Wachowski put this out on Blue Sky, of course, because that's where they all went. You understand me? DC Comics planting their flag on the moral high ground on the side of a white nationalist transphobe. Oh, the lies just keep coming. While dutifully carrying on his rotten work in the firing of Gretchen Felker-Martin, the characters of the DC universe would find this despicable. So you trying to tell me Superman would be celebrating political assassination? Batman would give Gretchen Felker-Martin a thumbs up. Jason Todd would come and go, hey, you have a list of anybody else I'm going to take out for you? You know, what's going on? Wonder Woman would be throwing a party on Themyscira. That's what you're telling me. what happened. That's how you believe the heroes of the DC universe wouldn't be wouldn't be acting towards this. So these people expose themselves in everything that they do. You see it in the way that they formulate things, everything. This is not the first time Lilly Wachowski has waded into political and cultural controversy. For years, the filmmaker has used the reputation earned from The Matrix to promote highly progressive causes, often clashing with conservatives. However, in this case, the defense of someone who openly chaired a man's assassination goes beyond partisan lines and into the realm of outright disregard for decency. Even if you did not like what Charlie Kirk had to say, that is your right to not like what Charlie Kirk had to say. Not everything everybody's going to believe or agree or like what the man has said. But there have been a number of lies going around out there in regards to what the man said. Like I said, I've known about Charlie Kirk for about 3 years now, seen his videos and things he's talked about, all that thing. And I could tell you, a lot of what people are putting out there now is just they're just literally cherry picking certain things the man said taken out of context without even setting the whole thing he said to push an agenda. And the fact that you are out here acting like this is troubling because there are people now losing their jobs over this madness. Hell, you have teachers in some schools in the United States and they were openly celebrating this assassination. I even saw a video where one student recorded a teacher talking and saying that, oh, the person said that, what, oh, they're happy Charlie Kirk was assassinated. They should kill his family. I mean, these are people, you give your children to these people. And this is what they're saying. It shows something is very wrong. And the fact that you're coming out here to try and act like you're supporting somebody when the only reason that you're doing it is because why Gretchen Felker-Martin is trans, so that person must face no accountability for being a vile, despicable monster. None. Right, to talk about how Felker-Martin had been writing for DC Comics before the scandal broke, and the whole thing about swords and prayers, you Nazi bitch, and all of this stuff after Charlie Kirk got shot, and then hope the bullets okay after touching Charlie Kirk. These things show how unhinged this person is. And you have no problem with it. You are out there defending this person's disgusting behavior simply because of one aspect. And yet the thing about it, you would never have heard Charlie Kirk celebrating anything if the roles were reversed. You would have never heard that. But no, they don't care. Because they have literally dehumanized people so much that as far as they're concerned, they're in the right and everybody else is wrong. But now, thanks to Wachowski's intervention, Felker-Martin is being reframed as a wronged creative rather than a writer who publicly reveled in the murder of a public figure. This turn of events highlights once again the deep cultural divide in the entertainment world, where political violence is excused or condemned not on principle but based on the target's ideology. This is what's going on. Hell, even if you look at this, for instance, Chris Pratt is facing, calls now. People are literally calling for Chris Pratt to be fired because why? I'll show you. This is what Chris Pratt put out after the murder of Charlie Kirk. Praying for Charlie Kirk right now, for his wife and young children, for our country. We need God's grace. God help us. And as far as these nut jobs are concerned, that is the most inhumane, disgusting thing you could ever say. Chris Pratt is a Christian, he's openly said it, and that causes problem because as far as they are concerned when it comes to Hollywood, Christianity is somehow evil. So what did people immediately do? What they always do. Many on the internet reacted to the actor's post with criticism, calling him out for supporting Kirk and asking for his ban. This is what one person had to say. Why aren't you praying for all those kids who were just murdered in that high school the other day? That also just happened. Or do you only pick and choose when you care about gun violence? I think we would have been happy. I think he would have been happy going out this way. He himself said some have to die. It was a person. And this is another bold-faced lie. People are out there openly making bold-faced lies about it. All Chris Pratt put over was a very heartfelt post saying, praying for Charlie Kirk right now, for his wife and young children, for our country. We need God's grace. God help us. And they want to get the man cancelled because of that. That is it. This is how messed up this whole thing has gotten. This is how messed up this whole thing has gotten. I don't know nor care about what you decide to do, or you decide to identify. That's not my business. That's not my business at all. But the fact that you, as the co-creator of one of the biggest movie franchises ever, The Matrix, are out there defending a person who openly mocked someone's assassination in front of their family on a college campus in front of thousands of people, openly mocked it. And your only reason for literally wanting to mock this, wanting to support this person who was rightfully fired and all of that, is because why? This person is trans, you're trans, so that means that, you know what, you did absolutely, you must never do anything wrong. Hell no. Gretchen Felker-Martin was fired by decision of never been hired in the first place. They knew what they were getting into. And this just continues to show the absolute degradation when it comes to everything. This is why entertainment is where it is, because these people have infiltrated everything and they keep showing themselves every day. Let me know your thoughts on this in the comments. If you have a different opinion, I'd love to hear it. If you like it, hit that thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. Ring the notification bell to be notified every time I put a new video. And I shall see you all next time. Take care.